Welcome Home Radio Podcast. Are you looking to buy or sell your home? Our team is here with answers to guide you through the buying and selling process. We encourage you to ask questions. Please comment on this show or visit us at welcomehomeradio.net for more information. Bringing real estate, lending, and education together in one place, and to help you make the right home decision for you and your family.
And welcome to Welcome Home Radio. It is August 28th, and this is where real estate lending and learning come together. We're going to be talking further. As of August 17th, the NAR Agreement went into effect, and we want to discuss further what are those opportunities or issues or concerns about the NAR Agreement. And welcome with us, of course, my old-time hat, Tom. Glad to have you here. And Jeff, golfing buddy, you're great to see you. But Rebecca, want to welcome you here today. Would you share with our audience who you are and where you work at?
Okay, so I have been a real estate agent for 10 years. I am a real estate broker as well. I'm a broker associate with LPT, Realty Company. And I have been teaching at Champion School of Real Estate also for about 6.5 years. And I do a lot of tutoring and helping and mentoring and answering questions for agents for the last 10 years almost. So, yeah.
So in your classrooms, of course, leading up to this, have you been covering things about the NAR Agreement and what's going to happen August 17th?
Yes, actually we have, but the good thing about the new agents coming in, they're not going to know any different than what they'll already know. And so that's going to be very helpful for them. The problem, I think, is going to lie in the agencies, the brokerages that experienced agents are with, making sure that they get the word of what's going on so they can then guide and mentor the new people coming in to be able to answer questions and that sort of thing.
Can you help me understand with the new agents and all that coming in, historically, the MLS has carried information with a listing about payment, about commissions, about how they're going to handle that. And now with the NAR Agreement, that is wiped out. That is no longer available to them at all.
Right.
I see a hidden code coming in real estate world because I don't know. I can envision anything from a simple, hey, it's a great free whatever, or something to be significant about, hey, this listing will pay the buyer's commission or this listing won't, because that's going to be a key thing. And listing agents have got to answer their phone to answer that question being called. And if they don't, I got to assume buyer agents are going to put in the contract, automatically assume, hey, this is a 3% commission deal. Would you,
right.
What are your thoughts on this?
You know what's so funny is we've already seen some memes, and I don't know if you have seen some of those things, some interesting ways that the commission will be known. And so there's a couple of them. One is put it on the little key, just on the little tag, and it just has, a number on there.
Yeah.
You might, have a gardener put, the number in the hedge of the, of the property, which I think is hilarious. There's an aerial shot of the grass being, being mowed in a certain way. So that way it's just known. But, I will say that I do want to start out by saying that this really isn't anything new. This is not anything new. We've really been supposed to be doing it the way that we're going to be forced to do it the whole time. And so it really should not interrupt an experienced, seasoned agent's workings, because as the listing agent, they should be talking to their clients about the how they want to go about their strategies with, do we pay them? Do we not? What can we do? The buyer's agent representation agreement already had that wording in there. The difference was that that wasn't something that was conveyed properly. And now they're having to do that for sure. So there's a lot of good things, I think, coming from this specifically.
Well, so being a broker and you're bringing in new agents, I mean, your old time agents like Tom, if he was working for you as an agent, he'd be going, don't worry about me. I'm paid for by the seller. I mean, you don't have to work. I work for free for you. That strategy or that statement
is so wrong. It's so wrong. It's always been wrong, because what you have just told your buyer is, even though the agreement specifically says you owe this money to me, I am going to try and get it from the seller in this case. Another thing is the Sherman Antitrust Act that also prohibited it. We also have a law about boycotting discount brokers. So in this case, it's okay to, today to send over a request for a certain amount. That's fine, because that's part of negotiations and that's part of your job. And so I think that it's just going to really help the industry in over and above, because of the fact that it's not like, because the buyer doesn't know what the agent saw on the MLS. And now it's really up to negotiation, which is so much better, I think.
Are you going to see a tendency from buyer agents not show homes, even though that's contrary to what their job description is, but not show homes or lead their clients to homes that are not paying the commission?
That's an interesting question. And the answer is always, should always have been, and will always be no, because your number one thing is to put the client's interest above your own every time. And so if you're not doing that, then you're not doing what's in the best for the client. You're trying to make it the best for you. And that should never be the motive for doing real estate.
And that's
part of what, that's one of the
main.
Go ahead.
Sorry, that's one of the main contingencies of what started the lawsuit as well, because they had shown and proven that agents were skipping properties that, while they fit the criteria of what the client wanted, they knew they were not going to get their full commissions as they saw they should, or felt they should. Mm-hmm. That was absolutely one of the main contingencies of why this lawsuit happened.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca, I want to say something to you, and I mean this from my heart, but I see our champion school and guru is sitting back very frustrated because he's so articulate and well-versed. So thank you for coming on this show and showing that
he's thinking right there. We've got the alligator.
Try to ignore him.
Look at that.
Do you see possibly where, since this is negotiable, that jumbo opportunities, and I look from a lender side, but $1 million plus homes are going to go more to a flat fee as opposed to a percentage? Because what's the difference between a $500,000-$600,000 home to $1 million, $1.2 million home? What are you going to do different to earn that extra kick in 3%?
Well, there is a difference, and that's where you've got the luxury agent who's going to do certain things more so. So there are different marketing strategies for different levels of homes. But the other thing is that really, when you are helping the seller sell their house, you're going to do a net sheet with them, or you should be doing a net sheet with them. So the commission is already shown to, if we do this, this is going to be how much you're going to net. And so some of those things should already be, we're already worked into the numbers. Even before. So it's not like, so today, if you're selling your house for, let's say, $500,000 and you, or $1 million, or it doesn't matter, because the net sheet would already have said, okay, if we put 3% for the buyer side that we're expecting to pay, then we know that seller, you're going to make this amount of money. But if we don't put that in there at $500,000, $1 million, then really you're selling your house for $1,030,000, right? So because of the fact that the buyer's having to pay that extra $30,000 to their own side. And so really the buyer might be going, well, wait a minute, I'm already, shelling out this amount of money to you. And now I'm going to have to cost this out. Also, you're going to have to bring the price down just a little bit because I won't have the money to solidify this deal.
So it's more depending on the market. If it's a seller's market, the tendency to get a buyer, they're going to pay a little bit more, and that can help pay the buyer's commission. Or if it's a buyer's market, to get buyers to come and buy that home or so forth, the seller's automatically going to promote paying off a buyer. So I think I agree with you that it's not going to change the market, but it's going to hold accountable procedures. But I think the hardest ones are not, like you said, the youngsters, the rookies. It's going to be the 10, 20-year legacy realtors that they've got to change their approach on some things or re-add or recondition their value. I think many of them that do the professional side of selling their assets or selling their value to their customers, this is not going to bother them whatsoever. It's the ones that don't, that just got in the market when the market was hot and crazy. And we've already seen a fall off on lender side as well as realtor sides, that those secondary jobs or I'm just going to do easy things or go away. And
I'd like to add to that point. I think though that's really good for the industry. And the reason being is because then you have people that are professionals, that is what they're actually doing. This is what I do. I had a conversation with the class that I was teaching the other day, and I will tell you, when you look at a real estate agent, I take this very seriously. I want to make sure that I'm giving good value to my client in the profession that I do. And having people just come into the marketplace, just setting up shop and then leaving, that just doesn't do well for the industry as a whole. And so this really is going to, it's really going to cast off those just fair weather, agents who they're just in it for a quick dollar, but it kind of just doesn't set the professionalism of the what we do.
Well, you mean if I get my real estate license, I just don't get business cards and sit on my couch and the phone rings?
Exactly. Right. You mean you have to do something for your money? Why would you do that? I thought you just sat at coffee shops and had lunch and drank wine. Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I do want to mention also, Rebecca, at the beginning, you were talking about how these are things that should have been handled this way to begin with. And just as a reminder to folks, the commercial side of the industry has handled their contracts, negotiated their fees and commissions long time ago. This has already been in place on the commercial side. So it's exactly as you said. It's been there. It's the way business has been done. But people, not everyone, but we know there are people in any contingency, they want to find the easy way and just lollygag through it. And that's not what being a real estate professional is truly about.
I totally agree. Completely. Yeah.
I would like to take us a slight change in direction because we've talked about realtors, and again, they are professionals. They're professional negotiators, professional knowledges on areas. One of the things I think if any realtor listening to this should understand is that when they present themselves, they're presenting a team of people behind them.
Right.
Relationships that they have and they work for, they bring to the table for their buyers. And several of those, I think that I've not heard enough of promotion of third-party relationships, whether it's the title company, whether it's the lender, whether it's the transaction coordinator, whether a lot of things come around that. And Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember, we did a show once about educating first-time home buyers how many people behind the lender and the realtor really are. And it came up to about 32 people. 32 different folks are behind those front two interactions with the client. And all of those relationships are important. And if I'm talking positive about you, you're talking positive about me, that's a way that you're going to get that 3%. You're going to be seen worthy because my lender speaks so well. Such a smooth transaction. It went so well with that process, so well with your process. It should never be a problem. But you've got to realize you're not selling just yourself. You're selling a whole team of people. I mean, Jeff takes a lot of selling. I got to do a lot of selling to get him to get the business, but Jeff's on my team and I know it and I can talk to him. And unlike those other people, I can call him on a Friday night and get an answer for you.
Right.
And so it's those sorts of things I think have been missing to sell that team. What are your thoughts on that?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, ma'am.
You're okay. That's right. Well, that is extremely important. And in fact, one of my last transactions that I had, I will tell you, we really had to work. We had to really, really dig in for that third party financing. It wasn't just, okay, well, we've got to just do this. Okay. And it was cut and dry. It was really a team effort to get that transaction completed. And it was important to get that with the team of people that I was working with the buyer, with the lenders, in order to find the right product and the right the right bank that would actually take care of the client, because we needed to get this deal done. And it took a lot of it took so much going back and forth, and everybody had to communicate together. And that's another really big one. It really, I only want to work with people who are on it. Like you mentioned, you've got to be able to call that person, because there are things that come up at 10 o'clock at night or at 8 o'clock, on a Saturday, evening or whatever. And we still have to make it work. And that's what we do. We're kind of, EMTs. We're always on, basically. It does
Very
really
true.
Yeah.
We have to know CPR.
We do, and we have to have something in our bag, to be able to say, you know what, this didn't work this way, but we're going to get this done. Because, and I think that when you come into the customer's place, and then you create a client for them, and then you go, you know what, I am so glad that you and I are working together, because I'm going to help you with every step of this transaction. It's not just going to be sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here. Let's educate them just a little bit, because the more that they're educated, the more decisions that they will be so much better prepared for. It won't, and they'll feel more confident with it as well, especially when you can have that team of people like you're talking about, to say, now this is what we're going to do next. What would you like to do, this or this, whichever way that they want to go, but give them some choices of, so that they feel like they've got a hand in it as well.
Sure. I mean, one of those simple things that I try to do for, if my buyer's agents will remember to do it, is basically you put in an offer, whether it's Sunday night, Saturday, Friday, Monday, call me with the listing agent's contact, and I will call to reaffirm this offer's good. The buyer is great. We're working hand in hand. It's going to be a smooth transaction. And it affirms that offer without the listing agent calling me. I'm being proactive. Therefore, it puts a win. A lot of times listing agents like that, and they'll go with that offer, recommend that offer over and above other things, because they see it's going to go smoothly, it's going to be complete, and letting them know they're fully underwritten before they even they're fully pre-approved and the offer's in. So it's those sort of things I think are going to help build value for buyer's agents to say, I'm worth my 3% because of not only me, my professionalism, but the team I bring with me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. And you know, because sometimes here's another thing is, as an agent, as a broker, when I may say, you know, where are we on this particular thing? Well, you know, the client still has a couple of papers, you know, a couple of documents that I still need. Okay, well, let me call them and let me see. Hey, Brenda, you know, have you sent over those 2 documents that the lender needed? Oh, I thought I did. Well, would you mind sending them over again? And just to make sure. Oh, sure, no problem. And then it kind of keeps the ball rolling, so we all can, you know, can get what we need to get done. So there's definitely a correlation between people who are doing a job well and getting the deal done. Because sometimes they can just get lost in translation somewhere, and then it's just the whole thing falls apart. And the client then doesn't feel, does not have a sense of that they don't feel like you're competent because you haven't talked to them, because they're just, the other person is thinking that they're waiting for something, but the other one thinks that they're waiting for something, and there's a breakdown of communication. So this kind of keeps the ball rolling, which I think just solidifies that team.
Good communication always helps succeeds in my book. And open communication definitely allows everyone to, hey, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I understand, give me an answer back. And you're right, it keeps the ball moving down the road to the goal. The ultimate goal is to get the buyer into the home successfully, on time, and in the means or better than what it was programmed to do. So awesome. I want to take us down one more road and discuss something that you're going to have insight on. You're not going to have an understanding possibly, because appraisers are unique creatures in themselves, but appraisals. How are appraisals going to change? You just said it earlier. We're buying this home for $1 million, but $1,030,000 is what I'm paying for it because of the commission. I mean, are appraisers going to change the way they're going to do if a seller is not paying the 6%, but they're only paying 3%? Is that going to change the appraised value of that property? Is this going to affect anything along that line? Because I'm hearing those things out in the industry, out with large groups. So I just want to get a solid understanding of, and of course, Tom's been very quiet. He's been biting his tongue, so we want to give him his little moment. But what's going to happen with appraisals? Are they going to do any type of change? Tom?
I'm going to start on this one. I personally do not think that they should at all. And the reason for that is because an appraisal is not emotional. It is not supposed to have anything to do with anything but that property. And so when we had a seller's market, it was really very important for the appraiser to be on it for what that house was worth, not the craziness of what buyers would buy that house for. If you want to buy that house for more, and there's the zaniness of the market, well, so be it. But you're going to cough up the rest of the money as the buyer. And so I think that it's an independent opinion. And so it should not, for me, I am going to be looking for the appraiser to just go, this is how much it is. Give us an unbiased opinion of how much this house is worth, so then we can negotiate between the buyer and the seller, and commissions and all the other things. Because if we don't have a constant and we just have this ebb and flow of, well, we'll do it this much and we'll do this for this person and whatever, then you have a totally convoluted market. Personal. I mean, that's just, I just need something that just tell me what it is, and then we'll work with what you say.
Tom, what do you got to say?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What say you?
Well, I was at the Dallas Mortgage Bankers meeting this month here at the first of the month. And one of the people that I know, Mark Bond, I pulled aside and asked him that exact question. And he said, well, there's a difference between value and price. Mm-hmm. So there's a difference between the market value and price that you pay for a house. And that's always been the case. So understanding if the commissions start to affect price, then it will change the value. Whether it's up or down will, reflect in what the house sold for. So you've got to look at it from the complete picture. What did the house sell for? That is the value of the property, and they're supposed to give an assessment of market value when they come to their final decision. So he said, people can pay prices, and this is Rebecca made this point. People can pay crazy pricing if they want to, but at the eventuality, will it change the market? We saw that this happened in Austin, where they went and people were paying crazy prices for houses, but it took a while before that affected the market and raised the market values. Now, on the flip side of that, of course, Austin, I keep loving to use Austin as an example because my daughter just bought a house there. She bought a house 5% below market, and the sellers left all the furniture in the living room, dining room, kitchen, and many of the mirrors and wall accessories and that type of deal because it matched what she likes to do and decorate a house. They left all that inclusive in the price when they sold the property. So she got about $15,000. The couch alone was listed at $7,000.
Wow.
So that's a market that's changing because the values are going to reflect that. They don't reflect that quite yet, but the listing agent told me that they were grateful that they had an offer from us. So that's a lot different than what it used to be. So again, price, what you pay for it, eventually affects value. So we'll see if this does have a net effect or if it's inclusive already in the terms that are negotiated, as Rebecca just mentioned.
Well, great guru, give us a forecasting of the Fed cutting rates if they go down 0.25% in September and one more time the November or December. What do you see happening to the market?
Well, again, the Fed rate is a short-term rate. We're already seeing long-term rates. Those bonds start trading in a category where it's lowering your interest rates. I had a quote come across my desk the other day at 6 5/8 at 0 points. And so that was done by a small broker, of course, and brokers have that latitude to really kind of compete in the marketplace. But if we're already seeing it at that level, before it gets to that point, will it push mortgage markets more? Maybe not. Maybe in September they'll stay as low as they get before they change the rate in September. But, my feel for rates has always been that supply and demand stuff. If you see money coming out and the stock market going down, bonds go down. If the market's going up, well, we're hitting another high again, every 3 days, it seems like, despite the 4,000 point glitch. That just shows that there's a lot of resiliency in the marketplace. So I like to see a little collapse in the stock market so we can see those rates go down a little bit more. I'm always, my cup is half full one way or another.
And a true investor has stated his opinion.
It is my opinion.
And you're sticking to it.
Just describe me as Mr. Opinion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shut up. You guys be quiet. Be nice.
Well, don't open yourself up like that. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we do see a change coming on the horizon. I see a refi boom coming in the last quarter of this year, especially with all the homes that have been bought over in the 7%. We're going to see a refi boom of 6s and possibly even 5s. Tom, I have just locked another loan at 5.75 VA. So, it's
you didn't make them pay any points, did you?
Sure.
Oh man, Don't do that to people.
It's because it's for their forever home. Come on. 100% disabled vet doesn't have to pay property tax here in Texas. Man, he loves it. It's his forever home.
It's a 15-year?
Nope, 30-year, but he got out of California as soon as he could.
Well, why didn't you get him a 15-year if it's their forever home?
He's going to pay it off sooner because of
I'm going to take a bet on that puppy.
I showed him how to do it. He can pay it off in 14 years.
Yeah, well, he could have paid it off in 13 if you put him on a 15-year note.
He didn't want to be constrained that way.
Oh, but he's going to make the payments on a 15-year payment. Yeah.
No, he's not.
You got to be tougher. You've just got to be tougher with these folks, man.
Tougher. Listen to him. Is this how he is at school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would believe it.
She's going, yeah, I've heard this before.
Rebecca, I've been in his class multiple times. He makes me sit in the back just so we know what to deal with him. I sit in the front, try to be a good little student, and he goes, get back there. Go. And don't say a word. I don't know you.
Am I right or am I wrong?
I'm not calling on you. You can wave your arms like this, and no, that's exactly.
See, nobody can see it. Nobody can see I'm ignoring him.
Exactly.
I thought it was because his big head was blocking the screen.
Oh, you got that puppy down.
Oh boy! Now who turned the coins on whom? Now listen to this.
Whoops!
Rebecca, thank you so much for taking time with us today and sharing what you see for the NAR agreement. I think it is still going to. I don't think it's going to impact the industry like people think, but it is going to help hold accountable realtors on either side.
Right.
I think it's going to increase the communication between buying and listing agents. And I think the education of buyers or the homeowner are going to get more questions. I mean, I just got off a call before doing this with a client who, oh yeah, I checked on the web and I'm checking on this and I'm checking, and I'm like, I want to throw up my hand and say, stop surfing, stop clickbaiting, stop. If you want to ask a question, come to me. I'll give you, and I'll even show you the sites. But all of this clickbait out there, all this fear has caused so much concern that analysis or paralysis by analysis is really taking place in some cases. But there has to be a growing trust between realtor and client. And then, of course, the team that's around that realtor.
That's right.
And I think we can, if we do a better job of developing that front will come forward and help everyone make the money they need to make, and the opportunities will be there. But like you said, both industries are going down. I was shocked to hear just on Tuesday, there's 267,000 loan officers that have survived the recent 3 years, but only 135,000 of them have done a deal in the last 16 months.
Wow.
So there's more opportunity for loan officers that are out there actually working because the pie got bigger, not smaller. The availability or opportunity has gotten larger for them, not smaller. So it should be exciting, like you say, that true professionals on the real estate or realtor side, there's more opportunity because there's less people competing. So I see this opportunity as we all grow, we all communicate about it. I believe is going to be better for the industry. And then, of course, I see a interest rate drop that will encourage buyers to get in the game, refis to start happening, and some people going, I don't want to refi, I want to move now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just going to start the cycle as existing homes become more and more available on the market.
I agree.
And Rebecca, keep in mind, it's going to be at least a month, if not 3. Professionals like yourself, your job is going to be a little harder coming up because so many people do not know what they're doing, and you're going to have to be coaching an agent on the other side of a transaction. And as it is right now, the attorneys I was on this morning, he's been teaching these contract changes, these classes. He gets done, and many brokers have seen this. As soon as he's done teaching a class, they made a change again to something. And
right.
So I'm teaching this, and these changes are still happening. And just like a client of mine yesterday evening said, Jeff, I called to set up the showings I was going to do with my buyer. And the listing agent said, you can't ask me about commissions. You can't call me about that. It's like, communication has to be there, folks. It's not on, it might not be on the MLS, but you still have to communicate. So it's going to be an interesting time for us all, but just stay patient, hang in there, right?
And we have to constantly be up on checking emails and, checking what is the latest and greatest. You can't just go hide under a rock thinking that even like with contracts, when I teach the contract class, contracts have changed so much over the years. And I still have, agents that are like, oh no, I just do it this way. You can't do it that way. And so I think that this is going to make us very mindful to just keep up with what's in the, what is coming down the pike, because we don't even really know it's going to change again, just like you said, because there's no finality yet in the lawsuit completely. And so, that's a good thing about real estate agents and just the industry in general. We have to be flexible and just say, okay, and and actually have a positive attitude. I think that that's going to be something that's okay. So now we're going to do it this way. That's okay. Okay.
Be flexible.
Yeah, just be flexible and just go, it's okay, and not be rigid. And, what we heard of last week, and just like you said, as they spoke, I was at a Metro Text issue class, and it was just kind of, nope, that's not it today. Okay, so tell me what it is today, and then we'll just kind of move on down the road with it. And then what we did, we'll just fix it, and we'll just continue. So we'll make it. It's that's the main thing, is there is sunshine at the end of the storm.
And it's not a train.
Yeah, exactly. Woo! Right. Woo, thank goodness. Yeah, it really is. It's not the oncoming train.
That's right. Right. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming. Listeners, if you want to find out more about Welcome Home Radio, find us at welcomehomeradio.net. You can find all of our shows there. Tom has put up with me for so long. You can see how many shows we've done. Tom, we're over 250 plus. Do you realize that?
Woohoo!
I was looking at that today. I thought, how did Mark put up with us?
Well, yeah, Mark I think he's let go of us a long time ago. He wished we'd go away. But
you pay him. That's why.
I don't know. But no, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. We're very excited about what's happening in our industry. And again, if anybody wants to ask questions, leave questions there. Follow us. Find us on your great Spotify or Google or wherever you find your apps at. We look forward to listening to what you want to talk about. We'll bring the professionals on like Rebecca, like Tom, like Jeff, that can answer your questions directly. And I just hope everyone out there is enjoying, and as we see rates get better, more activity in our industry is going to happen. So thank you very much. God bless. I'm Blair Thomas.
I'm Tom Holm.
I'm Jeff Duffy.
I'm Rebecca Savage.
God bless. Take care.
Welcome Home Radio production provided by Lunatic Digital. Check the listing of this podcast for the links to our sponsors. And don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media. Visit welcomehomeradio.net for more information. This was a Lunatic Digital production. Visit lunaticdigital.com for all your digital needs.